So you've just lost. How do we deal with that? Oftentimes, what I've learned in my past is to have greater humility, and that will conquer the shame of a defeat. What matters is can you accept the loss? You know, did you go out and give your best? Did you show up with a whole heart ready to fight? Because if you did, you're already doing 99% better than anyone else who didn't. The only thing left is that 1%. And we refer to that 1% as Kaizen. The theory that you should get better one step and 1% every day, just 1%. And that's all that matters. Sometimes the shame of defeat, when it's in front of a family member, when it's in front of your loved one, you know, this can fuel something in you where you feel like you're not good enough. When you are worthy, you are worthy. Okay? The only one that you have to compete with is yourself. When you wake up in the morning, it's yourself that you look in the mirror. Oftentimes today, we're too hard on ourselves. We're not proud of the little victory. The little victory it took just to get up and get up on the mat. You know? Jiu-jitsu is what does that for me. You know, I struggle deeply with clinical depression. Sometimes I can't explain it. I wake up in the morning and I'm under a spell. And under this spell is when I have to discover what I'm gonna do to get out of this rut. What am I gonna do to better myself that day? Well, it's simple, you know? I give myself a few affirmations. I accept the loss of yesterday and the betterment of today. And I get myself onto a mat. That's important. It doesn't really matter what sport or what form of martial art you take. It's important to get that brotherhood and that camaraderie to get together. The esprit de corps and being proud of something you're in is very important. But what it is a sense of belonging. Men after 30 struggle to make friends today. How many people do you know that you can call right now that's a 3 a.m. friend? You call him at 3 in the morning, he's getting pants on, you know? When I was in the Army, I had no shortage of 3 a.m. friends. People who were ready to get up and ready to show up. Today, it's harder to do that, you know? I traded that life for a service man. At one point, I thought, man, it's better for me to get out of the military so I can grow. Now, I'm at the point in my life where I'm thinking to myself, man, I miss the friends, I miss those people. Well, getting into jiu-jitsu is what restored that into me. I was able to show up on a mat and find guys around my age, find guys that have similar ideals and similar goals. And I'm telling you what, whether it's competing or it's coaching or just showing up for these people, I've learned more about myself and grown as a man, you know, in this time period. Dude, I love showing up and coaching somebody through a match, you know, whether they win or lose, that has nothing to do with anything. I could care less whether they win or lose. Did it matter? Did they have fun? And did they grow from it? Because, you know, at the end of the day, this martial art doesn't pay your bills. And maybe it does. But if you're like me, the regular guy or the hobbyist, you shouldn't have to worry about stuff like that. You know, what you worry about is just going out there and getting on the mat and having fun. Stepping on the mat and competing under a world stage or even just your local comp will give you like such energy, you know, a high that you can live off for a few days. And it doesn't matter if you win or you lose. You just get out there and do it. And that's my message to you guys today. Oftentimes, what you do to get over this shame of a loss or defeat is you pick yourself up. You now know what to hit. You now know what to work on. You now know what the flaws in your game. You're like, maybe I got swept in the mount. You know, maybe I got swept out of mount. You know, maybe your guard got passed super easy. But now you know what to work on. So the next time you get on the mat, you could be better for it. You know, oftentimes, it's back to the grind. Back to the grind. It's like going to the gym, you know? When you go to the gym in the morning, you know what you're working. You know what sets you're hitting. It should be the same in jiu-jitsu. If all you do is focus on what your professor's teaching you, you're never gonna grow because you're growing at the same rate as everyone in your class right now. Everyone in your class is also training that same move. You have to self-analyze. Same in life. What's bothering you today? What are you reflecting on today? Those are stuff you have to analyze. What can you do to get better? Pick one thing and improve it. If you do it 10 times over 10 weeks, 10 times a day. It adds up. And sooner or later, you'll be a black belt level at this move. It takes 10,000 times. If you're not the guy who's done a one armbar 100 different ways, but if you're the guy who's done the same armbar 100 times, it's gonna be much better at the guy who's only done it once 100 ways. So I'm gonna leave you guys with that, and hopefully I see you in the next video.